Now, if you're listening to Kirstine on Saturday Breakfast, you will have heard about a huge challenge taking place in the county. Because a few hours after coming on BBC Radio Norfolk, Hannah Colby went on to complete an amazing swing dance marathon. This sounds absolutely fab. 12 hours of dancing in memory of her late husband, Steve Gilmore. Steve was diagnosed with a brain tumour in August last year and passed away in May. And Hannah was aiming to raise enough money to fund a day's research for brain tumour research. So let's see how she got on. Hannah joins me in the studio now. Morning.
Morning, Kaylee.
I mean, how are the feet feeling?
I have to say, Kaylee, after Saturday, every part of me is glowing. So not so much throbbing, but glowing, because it was such a wonderful day and I'm just floating around on a cloud of happiness afterwards.
Oh, so talk us through it, because we sort of caught up with you beforehand. So what happened? What was it like?
It was beyond imaginings, and I'm sorry I'm going to sound as if I'm so over the top today, but it really was that way. I'd had so many hopes rather than expectations, but it exceeded all of those. It was brilliant. The Norwich and Norfolk East Anglian swing dance community really came together. We had a few new faces, many familiar faces, people who had been dancing for years, some people who poked their noses into the shoe factory and just wanted to see what was going on and then ended up staying for hours. It was wonderful.
And how much did you raise in the end?
Well, our target, we had an ambitious target. Mm-hmm. The target was £2,740, and as you said, that would be enough to fund a day's research by brain tumour research, and it would also mean that a plaque with Steve's name was placed on the wall in one of the brain tumour research centres of excellence. So it was really important for me to hit that £2,740 target. I know times are tough at the moment, and again, I was trying to prepare myself for the fact that maybe it might be a struggle, but in the end, we reached a grand total of £4,529.
Wow, what an amount. I mean, well done. You must have been chuffed when you counted all that up.
I couldn't quite believe it. I mean, to be honest, it was the day after the event. I was a little bit foggy, as you'd expect, after dancing for 12 hours. And I started counting and I thought, no, I can't have got that right. No, do it again, Hannah. Come on, concentrate. And it was all there in front of me, the evidence of people's generosity and how much Steve meant, not just to me and to his family, but to all of the people who were there and those who so generously donated online as well.
He's going to be so proud of you. He's going to be so proud of you. What an amazing achievement. Because, I mean, he was amazing, wasn't he? You know, yeah. I sort of knew of him through friends and sort of watched him many times. And I know it was very young to pass away, but I think everything sort of happened in such a short space of time for you, hasn't it?
It's been an absolutely crazy year. If someone had told me on the 31st of July 2021 that this is what would happen over the course of the last 12 months, I certainly wouldn't have believed them at all. And actually, like you, I believed that Steve was far too young for this to happen, but actually talking to brain tumour research and doing my own research into it, brain tumours are one of the biggest cancer killer of people under 40, children and young adults. And so Steve actually wasn't young in relation to those statistics, and I find that absolutely shocking, and that's why I'm so determined to try and raise as much money as I can to try and change those statistics.
And it must help as well to sort of have something to focus on. I mean, particularly sort of dancing for 12 hours. I mean, dancing is just to release at the best of times, isn't it?
It really is. It's such a wonderfully positive thing to do, and Ali Martinez, who danced with me, she volunteered to do the whole 12 hours, and I couldn't have wished for a better person to share the dance floor with. She was amazing. She never stopped smiling or moving, and together we kind of carried each other through, especially towards the end.
And I think when we are faced with some of our darkest moments, it can be really hard to sort of pull you out of that place. But I know, I mean, the support around you and friends and family, I mean, it's been incredible what they've done, and you must sort of feel that as well.
I really do, and I think it's a huge testament to Steve, who he was as a person, that he has so many friends, so many family members, colleagues, everybody who they've all pulled together in a way that I could never have foreseen and supported us, and that's been incredible. I couldn't have done any of this without those people around me.
So were they all cheering you on at the weekend?
Yes, they were all there. Adam, Mark, Martin, Steve's parents, Chris and Josie, all of his band members from the Booze Brothers, the Aviators, the Hardworking Blues Band, they're all there, and it was amazing. There's not much more I can say apart from to repeat the same words, amazing, wonderful, but that was it really. It was just spectacular.
And I think music is sort of what brought you two together, and what brought so many people to Steve. And I think music's just it's an important healer, isn't it, when you do lose someone? But also I think you get some wonderful memories, and there must be moments when you're dancing as well, and songs remind you of certain things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for all of us who were involved in Steve's life, music at the start was difficult because it has those memories. And now once we talk about firsts, the first time you hear a song, and the second and even the third time. But after a while, what I'm hoping and what we proved on Saturday was actually we can play those songs now, we can dance to them, and we can smile and remember what an amazing person he was.
So we're going to see you dancing anymore now, because you love it anyway. So.
I do. I am actually off at the weekend to a whole dance weekend. I'm not sure how the legs will hold up, but I'm sure it'll be all right on the night.
Yeah. So what were some of the highlights? What were the standout moments, do you think, on Saturday?
Oh gosh, it was seeing people who I haven't seen dancing for several years, as you'd imagine, because of circumstances. Coming back to the dance scene and joining in, seeing people's emotions, feeling that emotion as well around us when particular songs were played. There were an awful lot of group hugs, and they were very special. And just seeing the way that people interacted and how much joy music and dance brought to everybody in the building, even those people, as I said, who had just turned up to see what was going on and ended up dancing around themselves and trying some of the lessons. It was that was a real joy.
And sort of to do this, to sort of raise money to fund the day's research for brain tumour research. So when it comes to the research, so what have you learned through this experience? How much research is going on, and what do we know?
Well, at the start, when Steve was first diagnosed, I found it really difficult to do the research because the statistics were so horrifying. The fact that only 1% of national funding for cancer research goes towards brain tumours, when they are actually such a massive killer of young people. I think that's terrible, and I can understand certainly why other more obvious cancers have had so much attention. But talking to the people in the room on Saturday, doing my own research, there are an awful lot of people who know someone who has had brain tumour, unfortunately, who has lost someone from brain tumour. There have been several high-profile cases recently. I mean, Tom Parker is the obvious one, but even in Norfolk, we've had little Harry, who we lost a few weeks ago. But yet, there's still a massive gap in funding levels between brain tumour and other forms of cancer. That was a real shock to me to discover that, and also the survival rates, which are just utterly terrifying. The fact that only 12%, I think it is, of people with a brain tumour live for longer than 5 years. And when I read that statistic, that was really when the parameters of my whole world changed, because Steve and I used to laugh at each other and say, oh, you've got to put up with this for the next 40 years. And when you read a statistic like that, suddenly 40 years seems like something quite unreachable. And so it proved to be. But for the next 40 years, certainly, I will be celebrating Steve's life, and I am just so glad that I had him with me for the time that I did.
He was just an incredible person, and I think those memories will live with you forever. And when it comes to sort of looking forwards then, so I mean, are you going to keep fundraising? Have you got any challenges already you're going to set yourself?
Well, a couple of people have said to me, when are you doing the next one? Which I mean, this was so popular. I'm not sure I can promise to dance for a full 12 hours again, and we've done that, so there will certainly be new challenges on the horizon. I should imagine that another 12-hour dance event will probably happen at some point, not necessarily in the near future, but definitely in the future. And yes, I will keep fundraising as much as I can to try and change those statistics around.
Yeah, and is there any way we can still sort of pop a few pennies in and support you?
Yes, please, that would be wonderful, because as I said, at the moment we're at 4,529. So to hit a 2-day target, I can't believe I'm saying this, sorry, but the new target of 5,480, which would fund 2 days of research, is still very much in our sights. We do still have our Just Giving page open. It's on Just Giving under fundraising, morning, noon and night. after the Big Joe Turner song, if anyone gets that reference. So yes, if you would like to donate, it would be very much appreciated, hugely so. And to everyone who has already donated on Just Giving, who came to the event, who put some pennies in the pot, especially at such tough times for everyone, I can only just say a heartfelt thank you so much.
And thank you as well for doing this, and look after yourself, all right? And I'm sure we'll be back in touch for the next challenge.
I hope so.
Oh, all the best, Hannah Colby. And yeah, please, it'll be great to get a few more extra pennies in there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kaylee.